Hey guys, I'm Bryce. I'm part of the team at Clanker, and today I wanted to speak with you on agentic interfaces for consumers in crypto. This is like super left curve, so I hope you guys like pictures. So all of this is starting with agents, and I'm going to use the term and kind of sling it around very loosely as basically just agent frameworks and LLMs. Most of this stuff is not going to be anything that's fully autonomous, so just as a heads up. And I think what I want to focus on more here is how we spend our time interacting with agents. A lot of what we've seen now is either through like chat boxes or through social feeds on Farcaster and X. We started Clanker on Farcaster, and we're looking to kind of expand the ways that you can interact with it through various interfaces. I guess to start, when consumers onboard to crypto, a lot of one of their first kind of interactions is to conduct a swap. On the left, you'll see maybe you had a wallet, you'll go to either an order book exchange or a DEX like Uniswap, you'll submit your transaction and then execute it there. And then I think we've seen the wallet companies realize, okay, all of our consumers that are not necessarily power users, they're not optimizing for execution fees, are going to look directly into their wallets. So in the middle, you'll have a browser wallet, which is just sitting as an extension. And basically now all of these browser extension wallets have this swap modal inside of them. And being in the consumer space, we're going to gravitate toward mobile. And on the very right, you'll see Rainbow's wallet, along with almost every other mobile wallet, will have swap integrated in it. And part of this was to make things essentially easier for people who didn't want to start on the very left side. They never started there, and a lot of them might not ever touch that. And part of making these interfaces easier is to encourage people to take more actions on chain. If you had someone on board because they wanted to trade, you would want them to almost diversify what they're doing on chain, because some people they'll on board, they'll do a trade, and then they'll churn. Or they'll trade once, they'll trade twice, and then they churn. Because it almost seems like, oh, all I can do is trade, otherwise I have to go learn something else. On the left here, we have Rainbow's claimables section. So with Clanker, you can create a token, and as people trade, you'll accrue rewards to it. And instead, an easy way to claim the rewards is to just go to the Rainbow wallet, go to their claimable section, click claim, 2 clicks, and you've claimed it. Alternatively, you'd have to go to our front end, you connect the wallet, you click claim, or you claim directly from a smart contract. But that's just way too many steps for what we're trying to get people to do. And on the right, I'm sure you guys have seen Coinbase's new get a USDC loan with Bitcoin directly through Coinbase. So you're not directed externally anywhere. And these super specific processes have been abstracted into either mobile apps or super simple web interfaces. But these are very distinct things, and something that we can look to gain from agentic interfaces are to diversify what we're able to do. And I think we've seen a lot of this with Wayfinder recently. I guess just for some background on Clanker, as I kind of take you guys into why we used Farcaster as an interface and why we think social will, at least for right now, kind of dominate our interactions. Clanker was built by Alex and Jack, or the other people on our team, in about a week. They just wanted to kind of hack on something, and this was a super kind of constrained project. It wasn't meant to be anything super large. It was a pretty basic setup, but I think some of the constraints here were that we want people to interact with this in the social feed. There are lots of token launchers out there. You go out and you launch a token, and then you come back and share it somewhere else. But the core thesis here was that tokens and these token markets are inherently social, and they should be created on the social feed. So super basic how it works is that you can go on Farcaster, you tag our bot, you give it the name of the token, and you give it a ticker that you want, and then it deploys the token, puts it into a new Uniswap pool, and it'll accrue fees that you can claim later. And I guess to follow that, the reason why we think token markets are inherently social is because token markets really, I guess, navigate back to attention markets. For the most part, all of like, I guess, the meme coins that you're seeing now and all these tokens popping up, it's all flowing on attention. And you'll see how capital rotates from like one thing to the next thing to the next thing, especially in smaller economies. So if you're looking at just Farcaster, there's a finite amount of capital on Farcaster, like between its users. And we've seen this same amount of money go from one place to the next thing to the next thing. But part of why we still decided we're going to go on Farcaster is because traditionally you would have to go to a Launchpad website, say you want to launch a token. You go to the Launchpad website, you launch a token, and then you want to, I guess, disseminate the information. You share it in a Discord group. There's these Telegram calls channels. You trade it on Telegram trading bots, and then you go share it on crypto Twitter. And this is a pretty big process. It's not a very casual experience. You don't just decide, I'm going to do this, go through all these steps, through all the planning, make marketing materials and whatnot. And we think that this should be kind of aggregated into one step where you can just go to your social platform, you create a tweet, you create a cast, you create any kind of post, and then that is just turned into a token, and then everyone has all the context behind it. And I guess to double down on why we started with Farcaster was we were looking for interfaces where people already spend their time. We didn't want to go out and say, hey, if you want to make a token, if you want to use our product and be a user, you have to go to this external place, you have to connect wallets, you have to do all that stuff. And on the left, like a while ago, people were on Bitcoin Talk, all the announcements were there, every new coin. And we've obviously seen that migrate to crypto Twitter. We've seen like ideas come out of Truth Terminal. We've seen all kinds of tokens come out of that. And we thought that Farcaster would be great for us because of, I guess, the audience on Farcaster would already be willing to try this. They're already on the social network. And these are, like, on average, more crypto native people than you would find on pretty much any other platform. And using the social feed as an interface came with a lot of restrictions, and I think we thought this was a very good thing. Like you can see here, pretty much this is a cast that was used to create a token, and there's pretty much just two things, just the name and the ticker, and there's no other decisions you have to make as a consumer. So rather than going to a Launchpad website, you're deciding how many tokens you want there to be. You're deciding on the starting market cap. You might decide on fees. We wanted this to be a more casual experience. And I think the interface in which you create these tokens is part of making that experience, I guess, more casual and more easily accessible to open up more token markets. And I guess the last part on this is that creating these tokens out in the open, as opposed to on Launchpad interfaces, allows other people to see the full context of what's happening. On the bottom, you'll see the Bracket team made a bot called Bracky. They launched the token through Clanker directly in the feed. So you'll have full context of when it was launched, what happened, how people are reacting to it. But the Open Social Graph also enables people to build various interfaces on top of this. The top left is an interface called Clank Fund. That's like it's almost like a pump style kind of like rotating feed of new tokens that are created, top tokens and whatnot. On the right side is another kind of trading focused UI that has integrated social data called Cast Money. And we thought this was super powerful because we are enabling all these other teams to directly build on top of these token markets without us saying, hey, we need you to go build this, or hey, we need to build this internally. These people were just able to like tap in within a week or so, like create all of these new interfaces. And the result of this, I think if you look on the left side, that's like a TVL type metric. I don't think we're going to look at like how many tokens we deploy as sort of what our success is, but we are almost looking at this in a form of how much attention can we capture with token markets. And a lot of that is revolved around volume. So whenever we have new markets created on Clanker, whenever people are making new interfaces so that you can interact with these markets, we're looking at the volume primarily. And I guess going back to other interfaces with this, we think that agentic interfaces can simplify the process of what it means to be on-chain. Right now, I think if you tried to onboard someone, you would have to give them instructions like, hey, download this wallet, go back up your seed phrase, or upload it as a passkey to your iCloud keychain. And I think there's like this like learning process that people feel almost like forced that they have to go through. Like if I want to be on chain, I have to learn how to be on chain. And I think a lot of this can be taken away by these agentic interfaces. If you can interact with like, say, just like chat boxes like Wayfinder, why do I have to do all these other things if I can do everything in one place? And I'm not sure what exactly that place is, and I think this is what we're looking to kind of figure out. But what we are kind of going through now is deciding, I think we want to try to meet people like where they're already spending time. We don't want to make something new and we're saying, go here, go here, go here in order to do these things. And one of these things that we've seen, like along with like other agents, is a product called Banker that was built on top of us that was originally a bot similar to Clanker, but you can interact with it in the feed to have it trade. So I'm not going to an external site to talk in a chat box. I'm just tagging in the bot. I'm saying, hey, buy me $50 of the Banker token. And it'll spin up a Privy wallet for you. It'll give you an address. You can deposit funds, and you can do all those interactions through there. On the right side, they've also been building out this like sort of chat box. And we don't think that you have to go to like a single place. You should be able to interact with these agents through a variety of interfaces. And I think these interfaces can sort of make your everyday user enabled to be a power user on protocols. We don't have to like make everyone learn how to do each of these incremental steps. A lot of these are already going to be included like in the capabilities of these different agents and frameworks. So say you need to participate in governance, you don't need to go connect a wallet. I'm going to like vote. I can just tell my agent, hey, I read the proposal, vote for this. And I guess to wrap up, what we've been trying to do is kind of translate like at Clanker the bot into what has become essentially a pretty quickly growing ecosystem of things that we can create around. We've been creating products and focusing, really honing in on where users are already interacting. And a lot of that we think can be simplified through agentic interfaces. So we're not going to take users and bring them anywhere else. We're going to find them where they're already interacting and then enable them to do more from there. Thank you, guys.